having an amazing day so far. All right, so today we'll be doing our grade 2 English lesson on personal pronouns. So we'll be doing our grade 2 English lesson on personal pronouns. And before we start with our lesson, we're going to log into aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged into aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of language arts and then grade 2. Then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of personal pronouns. All right. So personal pronouns, this is a continuation of the lessons that we did yesterday, because yesterday we went over identify pronouns, choose between subject and object pronoun, as well as we replace the singular noun with the pronoun. So today we're going to do the last few lessons of personal pronouns before we end it off. So we are doing the chapter of personal pronouns. The subject is English language arts, grade 2. And the lessons that we are focusing on today is to replace the plural noun with a pronoun, compound subjects and objects with I and me, and to choose the correct personal pronoun. And we are doing a tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca. So if you do want to go, firstly, we are on aplusstudents.ca, but if later on you want to go over the chapter and the lessons again, you can go to aplusstudents.ca. Here we have the chapter, subject, grade, as well as lessons. All right. So a pronoun, right? So we're doing personal pronouns. And like we're saying, that this is a continuation of the lesson that we did previously, where we also did personal pronouns. So we said a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun or nouns, right? So a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun or nouns. And plural pronoun, right? Plural. Plural refers to more than one person, more than one thing, more than one place, right? So that is plural. It refers to anything that is more than one, right? So a plural pronoun, it takes the place of a plural noun, right? So anything that is more than one, so is it more than one person, more than one place, or more than one thing? And for example, right, if we say the kids liked the books, right? So the kids, so instead of constantly saying the kids, the kids, the kids, right? We can then refer to the kids as they like the books, because the kids, it basically gives the indication that it is more than one person, right? So we can then say they liked them. So which means that the word they is our pronoun. So they is our pronoun, and it takes the place of our noun, which is the kids. So they is the pronoun of the noun, which is the kids. So we say the kids like the books. So instead of saying the kids like the books, because we know we are referring to the kids, We can say they liked them. And them also refers to the book. So them is also the pronoun of books, which is the noun. So we say that they takes the place of the kids and them takes the place of the books. And they and them are our pronouns. And it's the plural pronouns, right? So we said plural pronouns refer to more than one person, place, or thing. And then we have singular pronouns, which refers to only one person, place, or thing. And a few of our plural pronouns, right? So a few of our plural pronouns are we, right? We is more than one. You, it's like saying you guys, right? They, they or them, us or we, right? So you can either refer to one person or you can refer to, if you're pointing to a group of people. It's like you guys or the two of you, right? So that is our plural pronouns. And we said a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun or it takes the place of nouns. Noun being singular, nouns being plural. And a plural pronoun takes the place of a plural noun, right? Or plural nouns, which is more than one person, place, or thing. All right. So once again, here we have a description of personal pronouns. And we say that it's a word that replaces the name of a person, place, thing, or idea in a sentence. So we said that a pronoun takes the place of a noun, right? So this description basically gives us more of a broader, deeper meaning of also what a pronoun is. And we said a personal pronoun is a word that replaces the name of a person, it replaces the name of a place, it replaces the name of a thing, or the name of an idea within a sentence. And the name of a person, place, thing, or idea we call nouns. So, which means that it is a word that replaces the noun. And if we make mention of the pronoun I or me, then it means that that is first person singular. It's either I, talking about me, it's I, right? Or we can say we or us. We can be, for example, myself and maybe my friends or siblings or somebody. So it's we. Or we can say it's us. So it's a first person plural. You can refer to two or more, which we are saying you guys. Or we can also make mention of you within a singular form, but in this case it's plural. Then they or them, right, refers to more than one person over there. And then we have him, he, she, her, and it. Right? And that is personal pronouns. And there we basically have a breakdown of all the personal pronouns. And we say personal pronouns, it is a word that replaces the noun or it replaces the name of a person, place, thing, or idea within a sentence. Right? All right. right, so we said we are doing our tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca. So we are going into our first lesson for today, which is to replace the plural noun with a pronoun. So we need to replace the plural noun with a pronoun. And we already said that the pronoun, it replaces the noun, right? Or nouns within a sentence. So a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun or nouns, right? And plural pronouns, they take the place of plural nouns, which refers to more than one person, place, or thing. And we say that the kids liked the books. So the kids is our plural nouns, right? Or it's our nouns. And if we replace that word, the kids, with a pronoun, then we can say it is they. Books is also a noun, right? Which means that if we replace that word books, then we can say it is them, right? So which means that they takes the place of they being the pronoun, takes the place of the kids, which is a noun, and them is the pronoun that takes the place of the books, which is a noun. And we said the most common plurals or plural pronouns are we, you, they, us, or them. All right. So now if we look at our first activity, right? It says the bus driver and I. So the bus driver and I, we need to find the plural of the bus driver and I helped the dog across the street. So the bus driver and I. What is the pronoun that will replace the bus driver and I? The pronoun. So the bus driver and I helped the dog across the street. All right, so if we complete the sentence with the best pronoun, we can say we helped the dog across the street, because we refers to the bus driver and I. So we helped the dog across the street. Before that trip, Bella and I had never seen a whale. So before that trip, Bella and I had never seen a whale. So Bella and I, what is the best pronoun to replace Bella and I? So before that trip, Bella and I had never seen a whale. So we can then say before that trip, we had never seen that whale. So we had never seen a whale. So Bella and I is the noun and we is the pronoun. So we. The lion roars at Mia and me from inside its cage. So the lion roars at Mia and me from inside its cage. And if we replace me and me, which is the noun, with the base pronoun, we can say the lions roar at us from inside the cage. Us is the pronoun, the plural pronoun. Us from inside the cage or its cage, right? So us is the base pronoun. All right. So now we're going to our test. Sometimes, Laura, we need to complete the sentence with the base pronoun. Sometimes Laura feeds the horses apples. So the horses, do we say sometimes Laura feeds them or sometimes Laura feeds they? Complete the sentence with the base pronoun. Sometimes Laura feeds the horses apples. Does it mean sometimes Laura feeds them apples or sometimes Laura feeds they apples? So we need to select the best pronoun to replace the noun, which is the horses. All right, and then if we replace the noun with the base pronoun, we will say sometimes Laura feeds them apples, and them refers to the horses. So we can't say they apples. So they is not correct. So sometimes Laura feeds them apples, them, and them refers to the horses. Miss McDaniels or Miss McDaniel tells Zach and me about some good books. So we need to complete the sentence with the base pronoun. Miss McDaniel tells Zach and me about some good books. So is it Miss McDaniels tells us about some good books or we about some good books? All right, so we can say Miss McDaniels tells us about some good books because we read the good books. So Miss McDaniels tells us about some good books. So us is the best pronoun. Us. Even in summer, those mountains had snow. So even in summer, those mountains had snow. So do we say they had snow or them had snow? The mountains. So we can say even in summer, they had snow. So they, which refers to those mountains. So they is the base pronoun, which replaces the noun, which is those mountains. Ted hopes to see whales in the sea. Whales. So Ted hopes to see whales in the sea. We need to complete the sentence with the base pronoun. Do we say Ted hopes to see them in the sea or Ted hopes to see they in the sea? All right, so we can say Ted hopes to see them in the sea. It's like saying they are in the sea, which refers to the whales, but we hope to see them, which are the whales. All right. So that is replacing the plural noun with a pronoun, right? And a pronoun can either be them, they, we, us, you, right? So now we're going to the compound subjects and objects with I and me, right? So the compound subjects and objects with I and me. Grandma hug Ellen and, right? This is now where we say, do we say Ellen and I, Ellen and me, for example. So when it comes to I, right, and me, I is a subject pronoun. So I is a subject pronoun. So you can use it as the subject of a sentence, right? I went to the park. I love my friends. I love my family, right? I hug Rick. So that means that we are referring to it as a subject in a sentence. And the word I, it tells the speaker, or it tells that the speaker is doing something. And it is usually at the beginning of the sentence. So I is usually at the beginning of the sentence. And there we have an example, which is I hug Rick. I at the beginning of the sentence. And that is a subject pronoun within that sentence. I love my friends. I love my family. I go to the park and I play with my friends. So I being the subject within that sentence. And it tells us that the speaker is doing something. I being the speaker is doing something. And there we see it is usually at the beginning of the sentence. Then we also have me, right? Me. So we have I as well as me. So me is an object pronoun. And me you can use after an action verb. So me you can use after an action verb. For example, Rick hugs me, right? Rick hugs me. And if we look at the subject pronoun, if we compare that to, then a subject pronoun is I hug Rick, but an object pronoun is Rick hugs me. And the object pronoun me is used after an action verb, which is hugs. And when a pronoun is connected to a noun, right? Remember a noun, it is basically, it names a person, it names a place, it names a thing, an animal, or an idea, right? So that is a noun. And when a pronoun, right, which replaces the noun, when it is connected to a noun with the word and, right? For example, like Rick and I, Rick and me, then it can be hard to tell which pronoun is correct. So sometimes when we talk and we have conversations, we can say things like Rick and I, or we can say Rick and me, right? But in order for us to tell which one is correct, you need to look at the sentence without the other noun. For example, Rick and I like the teacher. right? Which means that I like the teacher. So they say try to remove, example, Rick and, right? So try to remove that. If we try to remove that, then we can maybe say the sentence is I like the teacher, right? So now we know that this sentence or this is correct. Not even a sentence, this pronoun word that is linked with and. So now we say Rick and I like the teacher. Now we know it's correct because if we even remove Rick and we just have I like the teacher, then it means that the sentence is correct or it's even sounding correct, right? Because then it sounds like I like the teacher, and I is used as a subject in a sentence, which means that now Rick and I like the teacher, which is correct. So we can't say Rick and me likes the teacher, because if you remove Rick and, then it's like saying me like the teacher, and that is incorrect because that is grammatically wrong. So we say Rick and I like the teacher, but we don't say Rick and me like the teacher. And remember, we said that the word me or the object pronoun me, right? It comes after the action verb. So the object pronoun, which is me, even here in Rick and me, it comes after the action verb. For example, the teacher likes Rick and me, right? So even if we remove Rick and, then it's the same as saying the teacher likes me, which is grammatically right. Because if we had to say the teacher likes Rick and we remove Rick and then it sounds like the teacher likes I, then it is incorrect. So the teacher likes Rick and me is correct. And the teacher likes me, or me is used after the action verb, which is likes. All right, so if we look at the sentence, it says you need to select the correct pronoun to complete the sentence. So we either need to choose between me or we need to choose between I. Grandma hugged Ellen and me, or do we say grandma hugged Ellen and I? Which one do you think is correct? Remember we said that I is used as a subject usually at the beginning of a sentence, and me is used as an object, and that usually comes after an action verb. So grandma hugged Ellen and me, or Ellen and I. If we remove Ellen and, can we say grandma hugged me or grandma hugged I? So which one is correct? All right, so if we select the correct pronoun to complete the sentence, we can then say grandma hugged Ellen and me. So me is correct. Because if we remove Ellen and, then we can say grandma hugged me. And also me, which is our object pronoun, comes after hugged, which is the action verb. Grandma served the boys and. Do we say grandma served the boys and I? Or did grandma serve the boys and me? Which one is the correct pronoun? Is it I or is it me? So grandma served the boys and I, or grandma served the boys and me. All right, so we can then say grandma served the boys and me. So me is correct. Not served the boys and I, the boys and me. So me is the correct word. That noise frightened my friend and is it my friend and I or my friend and me? So that noise frightened my friend and I or my friend and me. All right, so if we select the best pronoun, we can say that noise frightened my friend and our subject pronoun, which is my friend and I. So I is correct. Oh, no, it is my friend and it's actually me. It's me. Because if we look at let's see, if we remove my friend, right? And then we can say that noise frightened me. So me is actually the correct word. All right. Now we're going to our test. And we need to select the correct pronoun to complete the sentence. So we need to select the correct pronoun to complete the sentence. Uncle Carson teases my brother and is it my brother and I? Or he teases my brother and me. So Uncle Carson teases my brother and I, or Uncle Carson teases my brother and me. All right, so if we were to select the correct pronoun to complete the sentence, then we will say Uncle Carson teases my brother and me. If we remove my brother and, then we can say Uncle Carson teases me. So my brother and me is correct. So me is correct. Grandma served the boys and me, or grandma served the boys and I. So grandma served the boys and me, or grandma served the boys and I. All right, so we can say grandma served the boys and me. Because if we remove the boys and, then we can say grandma served me. So grandma served the boys and me. Because if we was to say I, it would have been incorrect. And remember we said the word me comes after an action verb. So me is correct. Mr. Garza and like cats? Is it Mr. Gaza and me like cats? Or Mr. Gaza and I likes cats? Mr. Gaza and me like cats? Or Mr. Gaza and I like cats? All right. So if we're going to say Mr. Gaza and I, because if we remove Mr. Gaza and, then we can say I like cats, right? Not me, I like cats. So we can say Mr. Gaza and I like cats. So I is the correct word. And we need to select the correct pronoun to complete the sentence. My best friend and I, or my best friend and me, loves baseball. My best friend and I, or my best friend and me, love baseball. All right, so we can say my best friend and I, which is our subject pronoun. Because if we remove my best friend and, then we can say I love baseball. So I is correct. All right. So now we're going on to the last lesson, which is to choose the correct personal pronoun. And remember, we said we have singular pronouns as well as we have plural pronouns, right? So singular pronouns can be I, it can be me, it can be he, she, right? It. And then we have plural pronouns, which is we, which is us, they, them, you, right? So a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun or it takes the place of nouns. And we can use he and him, right? So we can use he and him for one boy or one man, right? So if we refer to one boy or one man, then we can use the word he, right? Or him. For example, John is here. John is a boy or John is a man. So we can say John, instead of saying John all the time, we can use the pronoun to replace the word John by saying either he sees you or you see him, right? So he and him refers to a boy or a man. And it replaces, for example, John. We use she and we use her for one girl or woman, right? One girl or one woman. Kate is here. She sees you. You see her. Right? So she refers to Kate. Her refers to Kate if we are making mention now of Kate. So she and her is the pronoun that replaces the noun, which is maybe Kate. Then we use it for one thing, right? Can be a thing, can be an animal, right? So we can say there is a rabbit here. So the rabbit, right? Remember with animals, we don't really say she or he, right? We usually refer to it as it. So we can say it sees you, you see it, and we refer to it as the rabbit. And then we use we or us in a plural form, right? Which refers to more than one person and refers to more than one person with I or me. So if we're referring to more than one person that is with me or with I, then we can say either we or us. So say for example, John and I, John and me or something, then we can say we see you, you see us. So we and us refers to John and I. And then we use they and them, right? So we use they and them to refer to more than one person or thing. For example, John and Kate are here. So instead of referring to or making mention of John and Kate again, we can refer to John and Kate as they or them. So they or them is the pronoun of John and Kate. It replaces that noun, which is John and Kate, and that is in a plural form. So now, if we look at this one activity, it says we need to complete the sentence with the pronoun that matches the words in bold. So my grandfather is in bold. So my grandfather is always ready to help people. Got our neighbor's cat out of a tree. So my grandfather does refer to as one person, more than one person, right? So it refers to more than one person. So we can say he got our neighbor's cat out of the tree because he refers to my grandfather. So my grandfather is always ready to help people. He got our neighbor's cat out of a tree. So he refers to my grandfather. And then we also have Mr. Brady would like to use our ladder today. He is doing some work on the roof. So he is doing some work on the roof. And then Jack tells a lot of jokes. Everyone likes because he is funny. So they like Jack, so they basically like him because Jack is funny. All right, so before we end up, let's go to our test. We need to complete the sentence with the pronoun that matches the word in bold. Jack tells a lot of stories. Everyone likes us because he is funny, or everyone likes him because he is funny. So, Jack, do they like us or do they like him because he is funny? So, if we're referring to Jack, then we can say everyone likes him because he is funny. Him, because he is funny. My sister sings in a rock band. She has a great voice or he has a great voice. We are referring to my sister. So my sister sings in a rock band. She has a great voice or he has a great voice. All right, so we can say my sister refers to she. So she is the pronoun of my sister. And then Stacy and I met you last year. Do you remember them or do you remember us? Stacy and I met last year. Do you remember them or do you remember us? Which refers to Stacy and I. All right, so we can say Stacy and I is us. So do you remember us? Which refers to Stacy and I. All right, so that is our lesson on personal pronouns, right? So this was our previous lesson as well as today's lesson on personal pronouns. And we had to replace plural pronouns. And we also made mention of subject and object, basically pronouns, right? And we do have singular pronouns, which is your I, me, he, she, it. And we have our plural pronouns, which refers to them, they, us, we, and you, right? And then we said our compound subject refers to I, and I is usually the subject that basically tells us what action the subject is doing. And then me is our our object pronoun, right? Where it is, for example, where you say grandma likes me, right? Or they do something for me, right? All right, so that is basically the end of our lesson on personal pronouns. Thank you for joining our class, and you should have a good day further. Goodbye.